Welcome back to Good Morning Vail. Well, here in the Valley, we've got all kinds of different people to help, whether it's, fitting you for a bike or talking about running shoes and things like that. But let's talk a minute about growing your wealth. I've got Holly Johnson with Growth Solutions Coaching sitting next to me. Holly, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you, Kevin?
Well, great. Thanks for joining me. Now, you have got a all-star studded cast that's going to join you on a Lunch and Learn coming up. I'm very curious. Let's hear a little more about that.
Yeah, so it's called the Wealth Building Seminar, and it's a group, these three individuals, Bonnie Marlette and Michelle Martinez and Rod Fishkin, are part of a network and referral group that I'm the territory leader for. And we have a professional development component of that every quarter, and this quarter was on referrals and helping everyone build their business. And so I said, well, I'm not buying a house right now. I don't know of anybody, and I don't need a mortgage, and I'm on a financial path. But where's their need here? And I'm a profit acceleration coach, so working with people on their finances, their profitability, that stems not only usually why they want to be profitable or more profitable in their business life is because they want to do more in their personal life. So how do we take what you're doing and make it better? Or take a desire that you have, for instance, being a first-time homeowner in the Vail Valley, or scaling up, scaling down, and having this panel be a resource and advisory board to you.
Right. Now, are you seeing any trends? Like we talk about growing wealth and learning a little more about how banks and finance can help you, and then getting with someone like you that's a coach. Are you seeing a certain demographic come to you seeking advice, or is it kind of across the board?
Well, most people, and why people hire coaches is they're at a point and they want to go here, but they don't know how. They've been the business owners that I work with have typically been in business for several years. They want to scale, they want to start planning on their exit strategy. Most small business owners want to sell their business. And there are certain things that make them more valuable to somebody who wants to buy a business doesn't want to go in unless they want to pay 30 cents on the dollar to fix it. They want to go in and find something that is a smooth running machine that can thrive without the owner being there. So I extract information from the owner's head and put it on paper and start developing policies and procedures for them. And that's not dissimilar when you look at a personal finance life. You just need some policies and procedures, and you need a little tweak here and a little tweak there, and all of a sudden small incremental changes lead to compounded growth. It's what the stock market is based on a good year.
And I guess, what you hit on there is if you're selling your business or buying a business, or if you're in the middle of succession planning, because a lot of people are getting ready to pass businesses on to a younger generation, and maybe that younger generation just doesn't have that knowledge on what to do and the financial wherewithal to actually make that business. And that's where a coach can come in and go, look, here's kind of the steps you need to take to make sure this business continues.
Right, and that goes into your own personal life too. I mean, if you're in a succession plan, you need to look at if you have real estate investments, how can you minimize how much you give to the government? Let's face it. And that's what Rod Fishkin's really an expert in. He goes, yeah, I'm a real estate broker, but I'm really more of a real estate planner. What is your plan? And then how can we maximize that? And do you need a trust or don't you? Fortunately, Colorado has a lot more, things don't go into probate here, or we have a very flexible probate system, where in California, if you go into probate because you haven't planned things out, then it's 2 years. And then all of a sudden the family member has this, but they're not quite prepared to still be carrying the mortgage or things like that, and that's where it starts getting really sticky.
Well, even the legal fees that come along with it, you just can't work with the court. You have to have an attorney, a real estate attorney, to kind of help you through that. So unfortunately, the taxes, like you pointed out, and then the attorney fees can just take away any of that estate that was left.
Right. And I have a painting client who, he just kind of, I'm making really good money, and then all of a sudden he's buying a house and he has a baby and he's going, oh my God, I can't just take the winter off anymore.
Right.
And so then he starts going to the other extreme of just working all the time, and he's burnt out and he's fried, and we're going, okay, the 7 areas of a successful business, 2 of those are around spending more time with family and friends. Let's face that's part of our quality of life.
Right.
And working less and making more money. So how do we do that? And that's where the other 5 areas come in.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. Those are the 2 things I want to do.
Well, yeah,
make
and
more money and not work as much.
And that's the motivators. You know, a lot of people want to break to 7 figures. I've done that too. I broke 7 figures and hated my job. And I'm going, okay, so wow, that's great. I'm making all this money right now, but what does it really mean? Well,
Right.
and so is it your college? Is it your kid's college education? Is it that vacation with your wife that you haven't had in 2 years, or even date nights because you had a baby and you haven't gone on a date in 2 years? And people just get caught up in this kind of snowball and roller coaster effect, and they just are on the train and they don't know how to get off.
Yeah. Now, we were talking before we went live on it's about spending habits, and putting a little bit aside makes a big impact. We talk about, you hear it all the time, professional athletes that are making millions of dollars in these contracts, by the time they're done, they're broke.
Right.
Because of their spending habits.
Right.
Now, what advice do you have for some of the younger viewers out there to get started on a path of financial success?
Just allocate anything. Even start with $20 a month that you put into your retirement fund, a savings account, or whatever. That, financial advisors say, 3 to 6 months of your cost of living expenses every month in a pretty liquid savings account. Now, fortunately, there's a lot more high yield savings account where you can transfer in and out. You don't have to have minimums and things like that. But even 4 to 5% on that is better than, I don't even know what a bank checking account is giving you right now. It's ridiculous. And so somebody told me, I don't know where it was, that if you start putting aside $100 a month when you're 20 years old, you will be a millionaire by the time you're my age. We're not even going to go to my age. It's not that long. I'm not that old. But again, and even my financial advisor, I'm somewhat embarrassed, but I'm not different from a lot of people. Divorced in my mid-50s. We were living in our retirement, had made some really good real estate investments, owned a property in Vail and a property in Sarasota, Florida. And all of a sudden, I'm down to one house, and I don't have a retirement fund. And so whenever I got hit with things, I was just borrowing from Peter to pay Paul all the time, and racking up credit card debt. COVID ate my business. So divorce, COVID eating my business, and then trying to carry 2 mortgages, and I am just flooding in credit card debt. So you just have to kind of backpedal and go, okay, how am I going to chip away at this? And then I just started that momentum. And when you have momentum, it's amazing how things just start multiplying on their own.
Yeah. You start to see that savings account build up, and it gives you the confidence and then security that goes along with it.
Right, and just knowing that, and you don't touch it unless you absolutely have to. And so I pay quarterly HOA dues, and so I just I put that in my savings. I'm like, I could pay it monthly to them, but I'm just giving them my money. I might as well make a little bit of money off of it and then just pull it out, and it takes 3 or 4 days to get it into your account.
Now, you and your panel, October 1st, over at the Gypsum Recreation Center from 11:30 to 1, it's a lunch and learn, growing wealth. So people need to get out there if they have questions. This is a perfect time to get out there, ask some questions that you've got. It's going to be a lot talking about, housing. We spoke about housing in the Valley and how someone can get housing because it's so expensive and there's not a lot out there. But this would be a good panel to get in front of, have some questions answered, listen to some expert advice on how to build your financial wealth.
Yeah, it's great. And, we have a mortgage broker, Bonnie Marlette, that I mentioned earlier, and she really specializes in working with first-time buyers. I mean, she can go up to jumbo loans too, but, most of the higher multi-million-dollar homes, those are still cash deals now. People are just pulling money out of their stock market and just diversifying. And then we have Michelle Martinez, who is with Rise Up Planning, and she is a financial advisor. Works predominantly with women, but also in their spouses, because a lot of women, I thought my husband was going to take care of all this stuff,
Yep.
and okay, now it's
Yeah.
up to me, to give them the confidence to know that they can control and manage. And more women are working and have control over their own money. And how do you plan for that and not find yourself blindsided? And then Rod Fishkin, who I mentioned, broker and real estate planner with Keller Williams, and just, they're not there to try to preach or tell or whatever.
Yeah.
They're going to give a short 10-minute maybe kind of overview of the market and some opportunities. It's really more of an opportunity for people to come and ask questions and figure out, walk away with one thing that you're going to do that is going to help you move your financial future forward.
Right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Holly. So all of you, get out there if you're interested in growing your financial wealth. It's going to be October 1st from 11:30 to 1, and to start you off, it's going to be a free lunch. Mountain Recreation there at the Gypsum Recreation Center. You'll see Holly and the rest of the team out there to talk to you a little bit about what's going on and answer some of your questions. We'll be back soon with more Good Morning Vail.
Good morning, Vail.